Pardon the eruption, but I'm HunterZinfected, and I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Ace Trainer Josh, and welcome back to another episode of Pardon the Eruption.
And we are back from a week break here to talk about Week 3 results and what happened at mids. So, Josh, tell me, who's the best player so far?
Funny enough, this has nothing to do with mids, but back to the question. I'm actually going to give this one to Aster J of the Wings of Wrath, and I'm very proud to say that Aster is a certified OG, and to see him still kicking around in 2022 is really nice to see. And all of his wins so far this season, outside of obviously Week 3.
How are you defining OG exactly?
Since the genuine Auras days, but that was the most recent gen.
Auras is OG? Auras? You're saying Auras is OG?
Yeah, if Auras is the newest game and you're playing Draft League, you're OG to me.
Okay. Keep going.
And, yeah, I think he's been really consistent for the Wings of Wrath. Your only other undefeated player in that team is Aimel, who I think is pretty good in his own respect. But Aster, outside of the Week 3 Shark game, which was a certified legendary game, he's looked pretty solid in every single one of his games, and I do feel that so far this season he's been the best player and the player to beat so far.
Yeah, the games I think Aster's been okay, but that Shark game made me kind of. I guess he set it up to win that way, but he should have lost, especially if the dude, whoever it is that he played that end game correctly.
That was Beardy who, by the way, lost that game.
Right. But yeah, no, I don't have Aster. I have Sharky King. If you asked me at the beginning of the season if I thought he was going to start 3-0, I would have definitely said, hell no, not in Auras. This guy started playing in Sword and Shield. But he's been doing well. He's been pretty much thrashing his opponents as far as I can remember. Especially this last week. Turn 1, head smashing, literally the damn Tornadus. That was a hell of a turn.
His last 2 games have been a complete stomping. Even Week 1 was a wheelchair. So, yeah, he's been by far the most dominant player.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying he's the best player so far.
Yeah. I just can't pick my teammates. By the way, speaking of teammates, shout out to TDG, also 3-0.
Shoutouts to Shadow. Shoutouts to Shadow's 3-0. That dude's a goat.
Yeah. 2 very good players this season. Yeah, they're both very good this season. I just don't think they're the best so far. But shout out to those guys. They've been excellent.
Yeah.
Sharky has been really good, yeah.
Next question, Josh. In light of who's been the best player, how about who's been the worst player?
So I hate to call anybody the worst player so far. And ironically I don't think it's any of the 0-3 players, which I'll list them for y'all. It's Finch, Sebby, and Vez, who I think are pretty good players in their own rights. They've had some very interesting situations.
Don't forget, Finch has only been hacked every single week.
Yeah, of course.
He should be 3-0.
He should be 3-0. Every week has been just a complete 100-0 hacks situation. But I'm gonna have to give it to BBEEAA, your boy.
Blah, 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 blah. That's what
it's not like. It's not that I think he's played terrible per se, but it's the fact that he went for so much damn money, and he has just been a complete disappointment so far in that respect. I get he's faced some pretty decent opponents so far.
Josh, I didn't ask you who's been the worst value for their price. I asked you who's been the worst player.
Hey, man, I think that in itself makes you the worst player.
You're ridiculous.
Not only are you winless, but you went for so much goddamn money, draining the value from your team's pocket. That makes you, in my opinion, the worst player.
All respect I had for that answer, down the drain.
Nah, dude. I think the comment section will agree with this one. If you go for almost 29K and you're winless, and not to mention, I think both of his games were pretty bleak, no matter what the result was. I think that's a pretty solid definition of worst player so far.
How about I give you a real answer?
Okay.
I'm gonna say L5 as a captain, as a self-proclaimed even season god, odd season loser. How are you going to be 0-2 as the captain, and then you had to get benched. You had to play money guy because it was going so bad for you. And let's see, that week 1 versus who was it? I don't even remember who it was. That was I think it was Devin.
It was Devin. He completely smoked him. And in week 2 was TDG. That was a
Oh,
crazy game, bro.
yeah. So it's like it, and when L5 does bad, he goes really bad. Like he does really bad, and so I'm not expecting much more from him for this season at this point. He's playing again this week against my own team. You know, am I expecting an easy win? No. Do I think we will win? Yeah. That's just what I expect from L5 at this point, and that's why I'm going to call him the worst player, even though he's not 0-3. But that's only because he had to bench himself.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a good answer.
next question. What team had the best mids?
Okay, so before I give this answer, you guys know very well I don't like to give a lot of credit to my own team because it's very easy to do so. But I believe that Noble Victory had without a doubt the best free agency movement. I'll
I,
explain why.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm with you. I'm with you. I do
yeah.
think Noble Victory
So
had the best mids.
if you, in case you guys aren't aware, we got rid of Hiker Toad, who, by the way, like died after week 1. We actually haven't heard a single word from him. Joshua and Pi, who I think were unfortunately, even for their value, pretty underwhelming for our team. And we got rid of them for Hacker, Glop, and Economical, who I think might have needed a change of scenery from the previous teams they were on. They have a tremendous amount of potential to really be good, valuable players, along with our already solidified me, Zing, TDG, Sharky, and even AM22 and Toxic could be good players in their own right. Haven't had the greatest start either. In fact, none of our captains have won so far this season, but nonetheless, it opens up a lot of potential for our team. And I think just compared to the rest of them, it's pretty big the changes that we make compared to a lot of other teams.
Isn't Economical the guy that beat Toxic week 1 with the Vile Plume?
I think it might have been. I actually don't know.
That's funny. But yeah, I think this trade worked out for y'all because what y'all got Economical, who seems to be, you know, he's a decent player. It seems like. And then you guys got Hacker, who I know is probably active, who I know is excited to be on a new team. So I think those are some good players y'all got in that exchange for who'd y'all drop? Dead Hiker. I don't know if Pi was dead. And
Pi was pretty inactive, which, if you guys know very well, that guy doesn't really shut up. So I'm surprised he was dead in
yeah,
our team.
and
It's
then
one of those things, yeah.
and then the thing is, like, even more so, that shows why y'all had the best mids is because no other team had even a okay mids from the looks of it. Because looking back, what my team didn't do anything at all. Danger Zone got Sebby for TCMTL, which is like, I don't know if that was a good trade because Danger Zone played him in Sword and Shield, and then he won. He goes 0-1 and 0. Then they play him the last 2 weeks in Oras, and then he goes 0-2, and they're like, oh, this guy sucks in Oras. We're kicking him out of the team. Like, what? For an 0-3 player? I know Sebby got a new environment and stuff, but that's real whack. And then no other team had big changes, which is
Yeah.
weird. I mean, okay, Old Heads had changes, but they weren't good changes. It seems like their team got worse, honestly.
Yeah, that's a whole different argument. But yeah, Old Heads would be like the second closest to like
Yeah.
a kind of revamped team. And it's,
Uh,
yeah, you can
all right.
argue
All right.
contrary.
Now we're gonna go back to a segment we've done before, Josh. It's Seismic Toss Up. Oh man, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, bro.
All right. So tell me, who's more likely to be the fourth playoff team, Hungry Men or Old Heads?
Okay, so I thought long and hard about this one because Old Heads undoubtedly was the worst team. But I think the changes they made honestly give them a good amount of potential to have a really good solid four. Because in case you guys don't know, they added Pyronox to their team and TCMTO, who I think are two very good players in own respects. Not to mention Vez, who I think could have a very good turnaround if he could start getting some wins. So that's Vez, TCMTO, Pyro, and then they can add Smoke on TJ, who's been pretty good so far this season. So they got a pretty decent looking roster to start. But the issue is that if any of those guys, like if Vez continues to lose and let's say TCM, Pyro, and Smogon don't all win, then it could be really dicey for the team. And I think it just in comparison to Hungry Man, they just look completely bad because they have 100p, who I think is amazing. And then it's like really questionable to who the rest of their team is that can really clutch up. Like it's Zern and like not much else. Like I don't think Josh is that clutch. I don't think Nerf has been that clutch so far this season. Like it's very questionable for Hungry Man. So I think Old Heads will have the best chance to get the number 4 seed at the end of the season.
Well, like I said, I think this Old Heads just got worse. I think Hungry Men is the better team between these two, and so I think they're more likely to be the fourth playoff team. They have, like you said, 100p. They have Zern. I think those two can win any given week. And then I think CEA is 2-0, or was it Spitfire? It's one of those two is 2-0. Either way,
Spitfire might be 2-0 actually. Yeah.
they're
C8 was winless before he beat
I
what's his
know
name? That guy.
they're like the main RS, I'm pretty sure, for that team, and they're not bad. Nicholas isn't that bad either. I played him myself. He's like average, I would say. That's I nothing more, nothing less from what I could tell. And then Nerf, if he pulls up and becomes the player he was supposed to be, then their season could turn around. So just I think this team lives or dies on Nerf's performance at this point.
I think you're probably correct about that.
All right, so toss up, Josh. Whose record is faker, Sebby's or Finch's? Go.
By the way, guys, if in case you didn't know, Finch has gotten hacked every week. It
Finch,
should be 3-0.
Finch should be 3-0.
But nonetheless, I think watching his games, because I've been very curious as to why he's been losing, I think his prep has been honestly pretty on par to what he was doing last season when I was his teammate. And I thought he was doing, obviously last season he was pretty damn good. I forget his exact record,
yeah,
but
dude,
it was very positive.
Because when he lost, he got hacks last season, but when he won, it's because he didn't get hacked. So he should be undefeated right now. Don't forget.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, every loss has been because of hacks so far, including this season. By the way, guys, in case you didn't know, he's supposed to be 3-0.
Yeah,
but
he's been getting hacks.
Between him and Sebby, I think Finch has had some pretty hard losses when it comes to RNG. Sebby, though, he's placed a lot of good players, and he's just kind of lost. So, I mean,
I'm
put it into perspective.
I played Sebby myself. I after watching his games and Finch's games, I think Sebby. By the way, Finch should be 3-0. He's been getting hacked so much; it's so unfair. He should not be 0-3.
We're horrible people.
Sebby, what are you talking about? Sebby, let's see. Week 1, he lost a 50-50 after having most of the game in his hand. So I don't, losing a 50-50, I don't think that means you're bad. I think, just a coin flip at that point. Then he got hacked week 2, and that kind of decided the game because I think it was a Stone Edge crit or something on a Lando.
He crit the Lando with Black and Rock Stone Edge. That's what it was.
Right. It was like, why do you even stay in? Something like that. And then week 3, he faced Dry. He just lost. Good game, whatever. But yeah, and then I know Finch should be undefeated, but I think Sebby's record is just a little bit more faker than Finch's. By the way, speaking of Finch, he should be 3-0. He should be undefeated. Don't forget, because he's been getting hacked. It's so unfair for him. He's a victim.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, guys, in case it wasn't obvious, I think Finch is the more faker. But anyways, I digress. Next question.
Okay, toss up, Josh. Who is the better 5K player so far this season? Aimel or Undead?
By the way, guys, just a disclaimer. I know not Undead. I know TDG's 3-0 and also undefeated, but this question is just in regards to Aimel and Undead. And I'm going to give it to Undead, which is very interesting for me to say in 2022. I never thought I would say this, but Undead has been surprisingly clutch. In case you guys are unaware, he beat AM22 in a Game 7 last week to beat my team, and the week prior, I think it was week 1, he beat K-Crick in a Game 7 to clutch up for his team again as well. So he has not only been undefeated so far this season, but he's clutched up in moments where a lot of people can really crack under the pressure. And I think, obviously, Aimel being 3-0 is very telling as well to the status of how well he's playing.
Aimel is 2-0. He's 2-0.
Oh, he's 2-0. I forget. I always think he played 3 games. But
it's
obviously undefeated as well. But Undead winning in very high-pressure situations, I think, just makes him the better 5K so far.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give this to Aimel because if seeing these two players having this question in front of me, I can never say Undead when he clicks Stealth Rocks that one turn. And I know it's like such a stupid thing to pick him on, but but come on. Let's see. Aimel totally thrashed GCS week 1, I think, or week 2. And
it was week 1, yeah.
And that's probably more so just GCS had a bad game than Aimel having a good game, but I digress. It was still a thrashing. And then week 3, who did he play?
He beat PZZ.
PZZ, that's right. It was what was the game? What did it end with? Nidoking. Yeah, Nidoking was trying to sub up on Rotom, but it didn't work because he had an Empower Grass, I think. That was breaking the sub. and he almost lost that game, but he was getting hexed. He was in an unfavorable position. He still won that game, and that was like, wow, Amel's that guy. He's got that in him. So I'm gonna have Aimel as the better 5K right now.
Yeah. By the way, that win where he like got completely hacked, honestly, like one of the worst hacks games, and he still came out on top. It was very impressive.
All right,
So yeah,
all right, all
props to
right.
him.
So I know we've been bad at being quick here, so let's make sure this lightning round is actually fast this time, Josh. All right.
Okay,
Okay.
give it to me. What's the first question?
Lightning round. Who's the best team so far?
I'm gonna give it to Wings of Wrath. I think Rise a goat, Sean's a goat. K Crick I think is not on the best, but he's on the rise. Then we got Devin, who's a goat. The whole team is a bunch of goats. I like their team a lot, and they're the best team so far.
Right, well, obviously, you're wrong. The best team so far is Trick of Eye. We're 3-0. We got I, arguably the best captain, like playing wise, battle wise. Then we have 3-0 Goat Shadow. We have 2-0 Goat Checkmate. We have 1-2 Goat Aki.
Yes, sir.
And then Zugaboo Royale is 2-0. I'm 2-0. BEA 0-2 Goat. Hopeless 0-2 Goat. They're all goats. Slick and Ice shoutouts. But yeah, I'm just gonna say my team. All right, next question. Any more timer wins, Josh?
So, in case you guys are unaware, Jimmy G got another timer W. So now he's 2-0, both his wins being off timer. People take too damn long to click buttons. So, I'm going to say we will get another timer win. I don't care what anybody else says. People take too damn long to click a fucking button. So, yes, it's going to happen, bro.
I'm gonna say no because I cannot believe. First of all, I can't believe there are 3 to begin with. Second of all, I don't think. Are we really gonna have another timer loss from someone? Like, come on, people have to catch on at some point that, hey, you know what? I better click a move before I lose to the timer. So I'm gonna say no. That was the end of the timer wins. Timer is gonna end 3-0 this season. All right, Josh. Among the 2-0 or better record players, or I mean, I guess among the 2-0 and 3-0 players, out of the 14 of them, how many will be left undefeated by the end of the season?
So, I'm actually going to give it to 3 players. I'm going to give it to Aster. I'm going to give it to Sharky. I'm going to give it to, who was it? Trying to remember.
100p.
Yeah, 100p. I think 100p is like a certified GOAT. That's right. Those 3 guys I think so far have looked good. Aster only having just one very shaky win, but the rest have looked really good. I think they will finish undefeated by the end of the season.
Yeah, I have 6 players remaining undefeated. I have me, I have Shadow, I have Zugaboo, and I have Checkmate.
Yeah.
And then for my other 2, I have 100p and Sharky. So those are my 6 to stay undefeated. And shoutouts to Slick and Ice. I also think they'll be undefeated. But point is, out of those that we mentioned, I have 6 people staying undefeated. So a little under half, but okay.
Don't get me wrong. I hope you go undefeated, but I just don't see
No,
it.
you're
I'm
a
sorry,
hater.
bro.
Okay, week 4 predictions. Danger Zone versus Wings of Wrath. What do you have?
I actually have this being one of the closer series of the week.
Faster.
Wings of Wrath 4-3. Very close series, in my opinion.
I have Wings of Wrath 6-1 with Rye, Brian, Habita, and then Finch, and then Aster, Devin, Savalo.
Ooh, okay.
Okay,
Interesting.
Old Head's Noble.
I'm gonna give our new revamped team a 7-0 in this one. I think Old Head stand no shot. I think I'm on the come up after a really bad L, and the rest of my team is gonna come up with me. So 7-0.
You're all gonna come.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a 6-1. I have Killy, Smogon TJ, Toxic, Hacker, Zing, Sharky, and you. So Noble Victory 6-1. All right, let's see. Ghosting Majorities, Hungry Men.
I actually have a 6-1 in favor of the Ghosted Majorities. I think the only guy who wins for Hungerman this week, ironically, is 100p. Because weirdly enough, Max is playing instead of Zern, and I just don't think Max is going to beat Street Cred Cookie, in my opinion.
Yeah, I got a 5-2 win for Ghosting Majorities. I have 100p, Bobbert, Nerf, Street Cred Cookie, Undead, Rob Jr., and Ian. Okay, and now Wigglytuff versus Strickavai.
Okay, so I actually have y'all's team, Trickavai, winning 5-2. Your only losses coming to Theo and King L5, personally.
All right, well, I have Trickavai winning 7-1. I mean, 7-0. 7-0, okay. 7-0. We're all winning. We're all goats, etc. All right. Any other last things you want to say, Josh?
I do apologize about the week-long break, but we just felt like it was better to put the mids and week 3 into one video because not a lot really happened, believe it or not. So I think it was just best to be this way, in case you guys are wondering.
All right, perfect. Well, that's all the time we have. We'll try to be faster next week, and we'll be back with the week 4 results.